Serious Redditors from Lebanon or Beirut, how are you after the horrific explosion in the city? I was going to see a friend, was on the highway and suddenly the explosion happened. I was a few kilometers from it. I didn't feel the shockwave cause I was in the car with the windows up, thankfully no broken windows or damage to my car. Suddenly after the car started shaking and I have seen the huge smoke, I was still in shock. Saw cars in front of me lose it and hit a wall, pedestrians passing out on the sidewalk. Army everywhere. I was surprised they were there that quick, maybe they were evacuating because of the fire? I seriously have no clue. Anyway, 30 seconds after the explosion, the friend I was going to calls me panicking and couldn't breathe. He told me his brother was really close to the explosion and he's hurt badly. Asked me to go to the nearest hospital. I turn around trying to go there, the roads are chaos, can't actually go anywhere. A few minutes he tells me he was able to talk to him again, and he is a hospital near the explosion. He couldn't get medical attention and to go pick him up and take another hospital. After 10 minutes of illegal driving, climbing over sidewalks, thankfully I have an SUV, I managed to arrive to the hospital. It was a war zone, blood literally everywhere on the floor, people fully laying down everywhere inside and outside the hospital on the streets. The hospital itself was in ruins, ceiling panels everywhere, windows all shattered, doctors and nurses running around in confusion. I locate my friend, he is in bad shape, arm all fucked up, legs covered in glass, a big chunk of his head missing. I convince a doctor to stitch him up quickly simply to stop the big bleeding, put on something on his head, and quickly take him to another hospital. He was fully covered in blood from head to toe, I swear I am OT exaggerating. We get in the car, turn on my blinkers, and full on towards another hospital. There was confusion to which hospital I should take him. I decided on a hospital further away hoping that people didn't have time to get to yet so my friend would get medical attention. I drive like a maniac, my hand almost consistently on the horn, blinkers on, and waving to people all along the way. There were no traffic rules for me at the time, people got angry but I couldn't care at the time. We arrive and the hospital is packed. I hastily park on the sidewalk and walk to the ER since there were too many cars blocking the road. I get him inside, judging by the looks of him the doctor quickly talks to him and figures out what is hurting and what needs to happen. His family members arrive 30 minutes later. We stayed until 12 a.m. until he was admitted to the hospital from the ER and we went home. He is fine and stable. I'm Lebanese and I'm stuck abroad because of COVID. I was on the phone with my grandmother when it happened. You do not want to hear your grandmother yelling like she is about to die. Everyone I know and I spent hours making phone calls, texting people, "Are you alive?" Worrying when the other person took more than a split second to answer. We had ceiling to floor windows in my house, they're completely destroyed. Mom had to stay home alone all night and we were worried someone would try to break in because we live on the second floor. We were also worried about the fumes. This is something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. There is only one main road standing between my house and the port. Thankfully, I left the apartment 10 minutes before to meet a friend, saw the fire, and thought it was something casual. Walked one street away, so one more layer of building away from the port, and sat and ordered some food outdoors. A few minutes later, we hear very loud rumbling, stand up to see what's happening from a better angle, and boom. The scariest moment in my life was seeing the blast come my way and not knowing what will happen next. My first impulse was to run away from buildings, my friend's impulse was to run into them to hide, so we ran in opposite directions. And then, glass and pebbles fell on me, and everything was covered in dust. I got minor wounds, and went with my friend to check on her boyfriend who lives nearby. Apartment was full of blood and we couldn't find him. Even in those moments I looked at her and said, "You just got the full Beirut experience," to which she responded, "Yes, I'm definitely ready to leave." She went to the nearest hospital to see if her boyfriend was there, and found out that he was transported to another hospital further from Beirut. I called my mom, and the moment she responds she is crying. She lives somewhat far but was worried about me and was glad I'm alive. I went back to check on my house, and the streets were like a war scene. People running everywhere and screaming, blood all over the place, rebel and people fighting, someone parked to get someone injured, and blocked the way on another car wanting to take someone injured to the hospital. The stairs in my building were full of blood stains and screams. Doors on all floors are out of place. Reached the house and it has literally imploded on itself as all the windows were closed. So, the house is gone. The building next to mine had 2 floors blown away onto the street, with electricity lines on the street amid the rubble. I also lost my car in the process as rubble fell on it. As I was packing the essentials to leave my house, the neighbor above me told me a lady in the building had her neck broken and needed assistance. We call for an ambulance but no response, so we call my neighbor's son-in-law. He says he's on his way. I take my stuff and leave for my parents' house. No cars anywhere near to take me. I walk for around a mile, and as I walk I see a beggar I always used to see nearby. He asks how he can reach North Lebanon where his family is, and asks for money to go there. Tells me his brother died as rubble fell on him from the building, and cries. I pass him some money, tell him we have all been horrified, and to take care. I find a taxi and go to my parents' house. They cry when they see me come in. I am still processing all what happened, and perhaps this is the reason I wrote this long comment. I can still feel the buzz in my ears, and watching the videos makes me shake on the inside. Lost everything, still processing. Still processing. Edit. Some pictures I took during the incident https://mgur.com/gallery/3h79mkt. My brother felt the shockwave 6 to 8 miles east a lot later than I did. I was about 2 miles south, but I managed to reach home without major injuries. I wasn't scared from a trembling building and shattered windows, not cause I'm so great, but I didn't process what happened, saw the mushroom cloud and genuinely thought we got nuked. I didn't understand the blast and what I went through before I saw all the videos online. I got extremely lucky. Edit. Thanks everyone for the support. I'm fine and managed to sleep a bit. Prayers go out to all affected more than me.